Why do a podcast for the very first time?
I think for us, we really wanted to just explain our story, try and inspire some younger people as well. I was like, Mum, I've quit school, I'm going to work for my dad. And she was like, you ruined your life. She was like, you ruined your life. What have you done? Blah, blah, blah. And that was that. So I called Tyler. I was like, mate, I've got this amazing job. I really could do with your expertise in the joinery side of things. I'll do all the upholstery. I was like, let's just try and do this and let's try and smash it. And then hopefully this is going to be our future.
Some people can run a good company and make a really, really good living. And then some people have a vision to turn that company into a brand.
There's hundreds and thousands of joinery companies and people doing wardrobes and beds and stuff. But how can we make ourselves different?
Today, we are interviewing Chay and Tyler, who are the founders behind Harper Charles. They are a luxury interior design company who have worked for the likes of footballers, celebrities, high-profile individuals, and your high net worths. Find out how they went from a startup to a massive company. Be happy, never content, and make sure you're subscribing to the channel. Before we start this week's podcast, I have to give a special mention to our sponsors. iSecure Vehicles. They are a brilliant company, a family-run business, and they specialise in vehicle safety and security throughout the UK. I know this company very well, and I also know the people behind the brand. If you've been following me on my podcast journey and on social media, you will know that I love cars and so does my network. This is why I'm very, very excited to be working with iSecure Vehicles, and this is why we have chosen them to be our sponsors for the Steven Sulley Study podcast. Their team are professionals, experts, and they're efficient. Once their product is installed on your car, your vehicles, you will have the peace of mind that your asset is protected. Trust me, do not wait until it's too late. Get protection now. For more information about their products, including dash cameras, undetected immobilizers, and also car tracking systems, head over to isecure-vehicles.co.uk and remember to mention the Steven Sulley Study podcast sent you. Right, welcome back to the podcast, the Steven Sulley Study. We're here in Mayfair at Woodbury House. I've got two founders, two entrepreneurs in front of me that founded a company 7 years ago.
7 years ago.
Roughly about 7 years ago, Harper Charles Co. Welcome on board, and I'm looking forward to this conversation, Chay and Tyler.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our first podcast.
Yeah.
Your first ever podcast. So, okay, I think the most relevant question to ask you then is, why do a podcast for the very first time?
I think for us, we really wanted to just kind of explain our story, try and inspire some younger people as well. And I think what's important with us, it makes us quite unique, is the fact that we're relatively young in the industry that we're working in. So I think it's quite cool to kind of show our side of things and our twist of what we've done on, say, interior design and obviously bespoke furniture.
Yeah, okay. For me, this is a really important podcast, and I'll tell you why. And this is my elevator pitch that I use on social media, Instagram, DMs, voice note when I'm trying to get a guest on. And it basically goes like this. I'm Steven, I'm 37 years of age. And the reason why I tell you this irrelevant information is because when I was younger, there was no such thing as podcasts or even social media. Had there been, I think it would have given me a bit of direction or insight into other people's lives. Because when I was younger, I was a complete flop, had no direction. Now I've got a gallery and I've been running my podcast for around about 5 years. My mission is to interview entrepreneurs, go-getters, movers and shakers to influence and to give hope to a younger demographic out there. So in short, I'd love to get you into the podcast. Let me know if you're up for it. And that is my pitch. But over time, my audience or the podcast guests have gone towards like more sports people or let's just say quote unquote celebrities or high profile people or sports people. But really and truly, the Steven Sulley Study was started because I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And listening to entrepreneurs or founders will give a young person a bit of insight and a bit of hope to learning a direction they want to go down. So for me, conversations like this, conversations when I had it with House and House recently, and also the Kettle Kids, are really important for the channel because this is where the actual channel started from.
Yeah.
So this is
definitely.
why I thank you for coming on board today, guys.
Thanks for having
Thanks for
us.
having us.
So, Harper Charles, what is Harper Charles and what do you guys do?
We're a high-end furniture design company. So obviously,
right?
yeah, home interiors. So obviously, majority of our work is high-end domestic. So we'll go into one of our clients' houses, we'll fully interior design it, and then we also have our own group of joiners, obviously interior designers as well, upholsterers, and we'll go in and we'll create their dream home interior.
Kind of do the whole package under one roof, which is really important, obviously keeping everything under one roof.
As founders, as business people, and someone that's building up a brand, I know fully well, having Woodbury House for almost 10 years now, you go through the rough and the smooth.
Yeah.
My question to you is, being in the luxury world, what challenges do you have, especially with today's economic climate?
Challenges in regards to our clients?
Everything, the brand, your industry, client, consumer confidence.
I feel like probably with what we do, because I feel like maybe because we haven't, we've only been in this game for say 7 years. So we're a relatively new company, whereas with a lot of the luxury and the high-end clientele, which may challenge us, is that they may go for already, say, designing brands that they've been familiar with, say, for the last 20 years. So people that they've, you know what I mean, obviously always previously used.
Same with art as well.
Yeah,
It's like
very
same
much
sort
so.
of concept.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas with your art, it's quite modern. It kind of feels modern now, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's.
Well, I know you shared this on the phone and also just before we started recording, but the story how you got into this business, but more importantly together as a partnership, is a very organic and a good one. And what we were saying upstairs in the gallery floor is, I feel like unless you're going to be a pilot, unless you're going to be a doctor or a nurse or something specific like a dentist, you have to go through the school, higher education, university, etc. And then you have to go on a course. But as an entrepreneur, a lot of the times I feel like you're going to go on your gut and also a feeling.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, really important for young entrepreneurs to know, because sometimes we all get frustrated because we haven't figured it out yet. Well, that's the point. You're just going your gut and you will figure it out as long as you're positive, you're working hard and you've got good intentions.
Yeah.
So you never had plans when you were both younger to start Harper Charles and have this luxury interior design company, whereas now you've got 18 employees, you're doing high-end homes, you're working with footballers, celebrities, people in the public domain. Talk to me about how you guys got together and kicked off this brand.
We met when we were about 17 through our ex-girlfriends. And Chay was an upholsterer by trade. He worked with his dad in his dad's upholstery shop, doing reupholstery, didn't you? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I got an apprenticeship straight after school. Pretty much my dad pushed me down the route saying, get a job, fell into a joinery apprenticeship.
Same as me. I told you about, I was a plumber and my mum and dad guided me into becoming a plumber.
Yeah.
So I didn't really have a choice in the thing. So did an apprenticeship for 3 years. And then, we kind of met along the way.
We met, so one of our previous girlfriends they went to an all-girls school, and it was like they had all like the rugby boys there and whatnot, their prom invites. So we got invited to their prom. We were out of place, but me and him hit it off. Yeah. And then from then, obviously our friendship, so that was when we were 17. And then so when we carried on, obviously I had my upholstery background, which I worked with my dad. So I remember I worked with my dad throughout a summer at school, and I went back to do my AS levels. I went in for a day and I just thought, I hate this. I was like, this ain't for me. So I remember I come home, I said to my mum, I was like, Mum, I've quit school, I'm going to work for my dad. And she was like, you ruined your life. She was like, you ruined your life. What have you done? Blah, blah, blah. And that was that. So then my career then was reupholstery. So that was with my dad and his local business. And then, we kind of, for me, we always wanted to work together.
We wanted to create, we was always doing what we were doing. And obviously we were good at it, right? But we were like, let's try and create an app together. Let's try and put our brains together and do something. And it just clicked. Obviously that job happened, which we haven't discussed yet, but there was that light bulb moment. It was like, why don't we just do what we do? You're an upholsterer, I'm a joiner. Let's put the two and two together. Let's combine and let's start something. And obviously that project which we spoke to you earlier about, that come to light as well, which helped. Let's start.
So there was this story you told off air about you got one of your first jobs and it went really well, but right at the end when some of the panels were falling off.
It went well for about half an hour and he got the phone call.
So again, it's like it's your the people that you know. Obviously, it helps, doesn't it, with how to get into these avenues and stuff. And so a family friend of mine had a house up in St Albans way, and he was like, Chay, can you come do a cinema room for me? And I was thinking, well, this ain't going to be too bad. I was like, all I've got to do is cut some panels, I've got to upholster them, and I've somehow got to fix them to the wall. And I was like, yeah, I'll go do it. So I went up there on my own, and I was working the weekends and that, getting it done, because obviously I was working full time with my dad. So I went there, done it all, couple weekends. As soon as I come back, I driving down the M25, and he calls me up, he goes, Chay, he's like, all the panels are falling off the wall. And I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to go back. So I went back, sorted it all out on that, come home. Then the next week he calls me up and goes, Chay, I've got you a cinema room. I went, it's in Stanmore. Come and see me and the client at the house at this address, blah, blah, blah. So I pull up to this house the next week. I'm 19 years old. I'm thinking, not really knowing what I'm walking into until I get down the private road. And I pull up to the house, and a £3 million house, and I go in there. Yeah, and I had an interior designer there at the time, had an AV guy there, obviously the guy who recommended me, who is his family friend as well, and then obviously the client and their family. So I'm standing there a little bit, never out of reach for me, because I'm good with people and I feel like I'm good in situations like that, but kind of caught me off guard a little bit. And so I'm having this proper meeting with everybody, and I'm thinking, bloody hell, last week the panel's falling off the wall, I need to do something about this. And so then I come out of there, and that's when I called Tyler. I was like, mate, I've got this amazing job. I went, I really could do with your expertise in the joinery side of things. I went, I'll do all the upholstery. I was like, let's just try and do this and let's try and smash it. And then hopefully this is going to be our future. So I was like, got the job, completely underpriced it. Lost money, hands over, like no doubt about that. But we went in there together first few weekends.
Treated it like it was the best job in the world. And it was for us because it was the first
amazing
job, but the amount of time we spent on it, we was there, like I remember finishing work of an evening in London and then driving to her house in Stanmore to like do work there of an evening and stuff just to get it done. But like it took so long, didn't it?
It was perfect.
But then at the end, I remember we walked around and we was like, when we looked at the finished room, we was like, we're onto something now. And
I remember coming out of there actually when we finished the job, and we had all the finished photos, which we then put onto our Instagrams early on, and we put it on some forum that you was with. We charged like £2,000 for this cinema room, whereas in hindsight, looking at a room like that now, you're probably talking maybe 50,000, £60,000 now. So like you can imagine, we did not earn a single penny out of that room, but it's got us to where we are now. So, and we put it onto the forum, didn't we? And it was like, how much do you think this room is? Like to try and get these people to kind of do similar to us. And we're like 30 grand, 40 grand. And me and him looking at each other, we're like, charge £2,000 for that.
We didn't, the thing is like, we didn't have any spite or nothing. We was like, it is what it is. It started the idea. And then from that as well, we had another client come through the same guy that you did the cinema room for in the first place. He basically said, I've got another client who he's interested in another cinema room. We was like, all right, okay, but he wants this, and he was like, he called us up, he's like, I want to see the cinema room you're doing now. And we was like, how are we gonna get this guy to come into our client's house without saying another client? Anyway, we just basically said, look, one of our friends is going to come in and look at the room, is that all right if he does? He come in, he had a look literally for 1 minute, and he just went straight back out. And then we get a phone call, whatever, in a couple of weeks' time. He said, mate, I want you boys to do our cinema room. And he was like, can you do a bed? So then it went on to a bed. So it was from cinema rooms to then a bed. And it was like, we can do beds. We didn't know how to do it. We just literally designed and made it ourselves, wasn't it? We just put our heads together.
And I saw on your website actually, so you're known for your brand is sofas, bedrooms, dressing rooms, home cinemas, mirrors and media units. And I was going to ask actually, why these elements and what did you start with? Obviously you've covered that now. because I know very well myself, doing up my own home from external to internal and having all like the furniture and stuff, you can spend a huge amount of money. In actual fact, it's a never-ending kind of cost.
Yeah, you're right.
You can go absolutely OTT on it. What's the most expensive kind of elements that you install? Is it the beds, or is it more like the sofas and cinemas?
To be honest, it's probably a joinery packages, but because there's more involved in them. But I feel like as a whole, like the most expensive thing is if you're going to do a full house project. So like if you're kitting out, you've got say 12, you got 13, 14 rooms in your house, you're going to be spending like 400-ish grand on home interiors for that. Especially if you've got a big house, you need a fair few bits. So
it's hard to say anywhere like that, because obviously if you just say just a median or just a bed, we can pluck up the number and say our most expensive bed's going to be this much. But for us now, it's more of the package. So obviously, like Chay said, like we're doing a whole package for a whole house, or maybe like the best house, or the rooms that they want to show off the most in the house, and they might settle for a little bit of a cheaper option in other rooms. But yeah, we're kind of doing a whole package. So what that could be is like the mid unit, it could be the interior design, it could be everything, innit?
Sofas, the whole lot, really.
What about the most expensive package that someone's got? Like how much are you talking?
So I think our biggest package was when we must have done 9 rooms. And it was 370 grand plus.
And this was going back a fair bit as well. So
yeah, it was going back a bit. But like we've got some really nice projects ahead of us. But obviously we've
priced up of some big ones. Like, you know what it's like. People come to you, like you say, they want you to price up their job, and you look at it and you think this is going to be the biggest job ever, and like it's going to be this many hundreds of thousands, and they never come off. Like, do you know what I mean? It always happens. Like price big ones, but
like we've come a long way from just doing the single items like when we first started. So like going back to that guy who obviously wanted to sit in my room and asked us for the beds, we were making them beds under Tyler's nan's carport. So like we were very limited to what we could do, and all we purely was doing was upholstery products and small joinery products, and that was mostly just sofas and beds, because we didn't have a workshop, we didn't have anything like that, so we couldn't do it.
Do you know, so what I'm interested in is some people can run a good company and make a really, really good living, and then some people have a vision to turn that company into a brand. And when I look at your brand, Harper Charles, clearly on your website, clearly the t-shirts that you wear, clearly how you hold yourself, and also your Instagram, it's very much a brand that stands for something. And you, even though by the text and logo, it stands for luxury. And of course, knowing that you've worked with footballers, celebrities, people who are in the public domain, clearly you've got a very, very good reputation as well as a client base. So was the mission always to be in a luxury sector and always to make your brand a luxury organisation?
Always, yeah.
It was really, like we always knew, like we're both from a small town, and like there's not many people that kind of leave out of that town, and like we just always, when we first got them couple of jobs, it just opened up our eyes. It probably wasn't until we got that first job in Stanmore we thought this is for us. Like we thought we need to be a part of this, and like how can we do it? And then obviously that's how we've got into that high-end sector. And like also not even just with the work thing and like the whole work load and everything like that, it's actually more so the whole lifestyle that some of our clients may live. It's like it's inspired us to kind of want to work hard and push towards that for us as well. So
and you know, like your logo, your text and stuff, and even your social media, it's all very, very slick, all very, very clean. I see you got 2 Instagram pages as well, which is your showroom and then obviously your main page, and I've had a look through both. That's another kind of skill set that you need to have in order to turn your business into a real brand. Like how did you pivot that, and when did you start kind of adopting that concept of becoming a proper brand? I mean, Tyler is a lot of the reasoning behind it all. He's got a good eye for everything, and he don't let nothing slip. So I'll let you take that.
So design-wise, like you pick up things from all different people and industries, right? Like we might pick up an idea from a watch dealer. They're not necessarily doing what we do, but I like that idea, and I think that would be cool in our market. It's like, I think throughout the 7 years we started, we've been doing that every single year, right? And just trying to, I don't know the word, but like
tweak
and like remodel and like refine it. Exactly, like just make little adjustments just to kind of like stand out a little bit more, to because there's hundreds and thousands of joinery companies and people doing wardrobes and beds and stuff, but like we like, how can we make ourselves different? That's the main thing.
Exactly. And I feel like even like what you're saying with our social media and stuff, we try and market things a little bit more, so like we're very fussy with what we upload. Even like our branding, you're so particular about what font we had. These t-shirts aren't necessarily our font, but on our website it's a font, and you notice if it's not that straight away. You're like, they ain't our font.
Well, you can even see on the t-shirts, the t-shirt itself, even taking off the text, they're good quality, they're thick, and they're actually quite stylish as well, right? And the first impressions always count. So like your staff then, when you go into a home for the very first time and you're pricing out the job, how important is a first impression?
Massively.
Massive.
Like we say that, and to be honest, all of our staff everyone's relatively young, so we're only 27, and to be honest, majority of our workshop boys and even our girls in our office and our interior designers were all very similar ages. We're probably the oldest out of that bunch. It's only our CGI guy, and also going back to my comment earlier with my mum saying I ruined my life leaving school, she now works for us, so my mum's up there in the age category as well. So when we go to clients' houses, we've got that younger edge, so people feel very comfortable with us. And do you know what I mean? The boys wear these t-shirts, we wear nice trainers, like we're not trying to be someone we're not. We're just got that younger edge to it. We are who we are. We're the modern day like people, but we know what's good and what people expect, and we're trying to do the best we can with the products we offer.
I mean, I totally resonate with that. I mean, most galleries you walk around in Mayfair, and they're all very, very good and fantastic at what they do, but you walk in there and 9 times out of 10 I would say you're going to meet someone with a suit. With us here, it's casual. It's Jordans on, or it's Christian Dior trainers on, or it's a t-shirt. And I don't know, I just feel that promoting street art as well, it kind of fits that more than a 3-piece suit. And that's why we've gone like that. So I resonate with what you're saying.
Definitely. And it's like, even though you say that though, it's like with us, we're a high-end furniture brand. If you kind of look back on it, you kind of would expect, without seeing our faces say on our Instagram or anything like that, you would expect straight away for older people to be behind it, because it's quite a dated, especially upholstery, it's an old-fashioned trade. There's not many young people coming into it, so I think that's probably a massive reason of our success as well, is because we've managed to kind of get in with the younger people who we can relate to. Similar interests.
Clients have almost felt like they want to give us a chance, and do you know what I mean? And without those chances, we wouldn't be here now. Like I really feel like they've definitely been a big part of it, obviously, but without them, kind of when we first started, without them giving us a little opportunity, because at the start we obviously didn't have the content and things like that from the get-go. So
I know you mentioned that you're only really on Instagram at the moment, but maybe plans in the future to venture out into other platforms. How much of a tool is Instagram for your business and to getting new clients on board?
Massive.
It's the 100% of our business, isn't it?
Well, maybe not 100% now with word of mouth and stuff, but
as far as content goes,
from the get-go, it's grown our business to what it is now. It started 2 of us, like I said, we've got 18 people now on board. We wouldn't be able to do that with the clients coming through on that platform. So we've got so much to thank for Instagram, really.
So going to some of your clients, obviously we're not going to name any names, but there are the footballers, there's the high net worth, there's the celebrities, there's the well-known business people out there. Who would you say is the most common demographic that you actually work for? I
would say realistically, it's your
successful.
It's like your business people, like people who've set up their own thing. They've got their own businesses. They might be. We see all sort of different types of businesses, don't we? So I mean, I'd say like your typical businessman who is doing well. They care about their home and how it looks and stuff like that. Those sort of people, And
to be honest with you, age-wise, tends to be around 30.
Yeah.
Our clientele isn't very old. It's actually successful younger people, which is,
New money in it.
yeah.
Guys, I wanted to hop on here to once again thank the sponsors of this week's podcast, iSecure Vehicles. When we were searching around for sponsors for the channel, we honestly wanted to get a brand, a company that would give massive amount of value to our audience, and that is definitely iSecure Vehicles. They have a wide range of products which are designed to keep your vehicle, your asset, safe and secure. Some of those products are dash cameras, undetected immobilizers, and car tracking systems. Head over to iSecure to look at their products and make sure you say that the Steven Sulley Study podcast sent you there. I want to ask you a bit of a weird question, and there's a reason why I'm asking this question, but I just want to get your kind of initial reaction on it. Is spending a lot of money on a bed a good investment?
Of course.
Yes.
Why?
Maybe it's not a good investment in the way that a return of money. However, it's a good investment because you have that room that you go to every single night. It's like having a bad mattress. Like, you want to have a good mattress, and
You want to wake up in the morning feeling fresh. You don't want to look
Yeah.
at your bed and look back at it and go, I'm not going to make that. You want to look at it and think, I need to make my bed because what they've done looks amazing. Do you know what I mean? You need to. It's that first part of the day. If you don't make your bed, you're just setting yourself up for a bad day, right?
yeah,
What actually makes a good bed life?
a good bed. Harper Charles.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why I asked this question is because I thought about it a lot, and I've listened to a lot of podcasts, and I've gone into places like Harrods and Selfridges where you get pitched different beds and stuff. And a lady said to me once, she said, what car do you drive? Now, I don't drive a car now, but I don't have a car because I don't need one. But at the time I had a Bentley Super Sports. And She said, how much you paid for it? And I told her. And she said, you're only going to spend X amount of time in your life driving that car, whereas a third of your life is going to be in the bed. And the moment she said that, I almost felt a bit stupid spending the money on the car. And it is true, right? If you have a good night's sleep, if you've got a really good bed, you really do wake up in the morning feeling recharged, fresh and ready to attack the day.
Definitely.
Is that kind of your pitch when you're selling someone a 10, 20, 30,000 pound bed?
Maybe, do you know what, we haven't used that, but I might pinch that from you. That's quite good, I like that. But like,
I wouldn't say we've ever had to really ever like pitch as such
You're
either,
right,
because people are obviously coming to us. They've seen our Instagram or like word of mouth. They've their friends have recommended us, like saying these guys.
Or they've seen their friend's house.
Yeah, like they've seen the quality or around their friend's house.
Yeah.
Whatever, but we've never had to go and kind of like sell it to them. It's not, I don't know.
But like, I get what you're saying though. Like, sometimes it's kind of like, it's hard to explain, but like with our bed, say, it's like people always tend to see one that we've previously done, even if it's on social media. But that's why they're coming to us already, because they know what they want, and then we'll do like a new design for them or anything like that, really.
Do you reckon? Would you say that Harper Charles sells lifestyle rather than sells product?
Lifestyle.
No,
and products.
I would say our products and our quality. That's the whole reason why we're here. But we because we're young, we add the lifestyle bit in.
Yeah,
that's the whole reason between.
And it's like, it's kind of become a little bit of a thing now as well. Like, we've got some clients who's like, we call it a Harper Charles home because we've done we've done their rooms in their home, and now it's a Harper Charles home to them. They love it. And it's like, we had one client once, because we do like some nice bedside tables, and we always put the fabric bases in there, and it's like a nice little thing to our client. We embroidered their initials into their bedside, so when they open the drawer, and we had one that just opened the drawer, she goes, I feel fucking rich. Just closed it.
The reason why I was touching on the element of sales is, look, we're in Mayfair, and Mayfair will sell someone to a certain degree because of the postcode.
Yeah.
Then the gallery itself will sell someone to a certain degree because of how beautiful and how spacious the building is.
Yeah.
The artist or the piece of art will sell itself because of the brand, because of the narrative, the affiliation, and the way it looks and feels. But there is an element of that conversation that a slight sale has to be made in order for the person to feel confident to part with the money and that fair exchange.
Definitely.
And I know Harper Charles, the brand, will do a bit of the selling, and I know your product will do a bit of the selling, and your workmanship and how punch you are will do the selling. But there has to be a point where sometimes someone's a little bit 50-50 on not using you guys, but maybe going from a £10,000 product to a £20,000 product. They're going to use you. What is that tipping point? What makes you a good sales
to win them projects?
Yeah.
And I think people buy from people. I think our relationship with our clients is so good. So like, for example, you may come along and you'll purchase an interior design package from us. So if, let's just say, base that on one room for now. So what comes with that is that you're always going to have we got the girls in the office who's our interior designer, who's going to look after you throughout that whole process, that will design exactly what you require. Obviously we have an idea of what the client wants, and we just put our own thing on it and design it exactly to how we think will look good. And then when we're ready for a presentation, we go out for lunch with them, we treat them, we sit down, we present them everything, all the samples, the finishes, the CGIs of their rooms, and what comes along with the whole process with that is a relationship. And the relationship throughout that, which may take 2 to 3 weeks, say for one room, it's constant contact really. And I feel like when we get to the point of sitting down, having lunch, presenting it's a really nice bond that we've got with them. And it's almost like if we don't do work with them in the future, it's almost like a breakup, because we've got such a good friendship with them, as well as obviously a business relationship with them as well. So I think that's probably what sells our product, is our relationship.
Yeah. As you well know, I've interviewed a couple of duos, a couple of founders before, including the Kettle Kids. And when we were chatting about maybe rappers, there's a typical kind of item or items that will go after. Yeah. And if we're talking stereotypically, it might be a nice out chain, for example, and they're looking to kind of maybe outdo each other. And it's a sign of their talent, it's a sign of their following, it's a sign of their wealth, it's a sign of who they are, that's why they do it. My question to you is, in the football community, is there like a bit of a culture for what they order via you guys?
Dressing room. Always a dressing room.
Yeah, I mean, it's always different. I mean, everyone is completely different.
Yeah.
But
like a dressing room's a big thing for them, because like they want to put all their nice bits in it, their nice trainers, everything like that. So I think that's a massive thing that they're definitely most interested in. And then I've always find their other halves kind of take over on the rest of the house.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only room they're allowed to design.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they're still only allowed half of it, and the other half's got
gone.
And being young guys, you're probably very, very used to it now. You're very successful. You're building up a brand, building a reputation, and obviously as time goes on, you get kind of immune to certain scenarios. But when you first got your major celebrity footballer, whoever it may be, surely you were slightly starstruck.
Definitely. Yeah. It was so exciting. It felt like a massive achievement. Do you know what I mean? It really did, because like we literally started we had intentions of working together and doing what we wanted to do, but we never had thought that it would ever kind of get to where we're at now. Like so quickly. I mean, I think eventually we knew it was going to get there, but definitely a little bit starstruck at the time, but now it's casual, it's nice. Like we would text them, and
I mean, now we're much more professional with it all, aren't we? We're like very calm. It's like, so now we treat them like anyone else, like they're just another client to us, and I think they want that as well. They don't want to be treated differently, or I think it's so important just to treat everyone the same, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
And a bit of a similar question, but going to these mansions for the very, very first time, for me, getting blown away, but also very, very inspired is part of the reason why I watched that YouTube channel upstairs, which I've shown you earlier. And I walk around Farnborough Park and Keston Park. Even tonight when I go for a run, my route is via Keston Park and Farnborough Park, simply because I love looking at the houses as I'm running by. There are £10 million houses in there, £15 million houses in there, and that really inspires me. Was there ever a moment you went to a house and thought, oh my God, this is like a castle?
Yeah. I mean, we always say there's levels, and then there's levels above levels.
Yeah.
Like we've got some clients where you think there's inspiring, and then there's some dreaming.
There's some dreaming. A bit out of reach.
So what's the most expensive home you've ever been around?
It would have been, I won't say location, but I can say district, probably Hertfordshire, weren't it?
About 15 plus, wasn't it?
Didn't I think it went up it was 20 million, I think it was at the time.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah.
And if you could describe the house, basement area, tennis courts,
everything pristine.
Yeah, perfect. Huge gates, lovely long driveway down to it. Got a display of cars on the drive, and they all have to be parked a certain way for this client. It's proper, and then the house itself is stunning. Marble staircases, beautiful. There's like a land, you look out the back window and it is just feels it's all theirs. It's beautiful, massive fishing lake, and stunning.
They were actually one of our first clients. After about just under a year, they got into contact with us. And we've been working with them ever since. They've been good clients to us, like very regular, and recommended us to other people as well. But like we've kept that sort of relationship there as well, which is good to keep. You
mentioned about the client, about having a car a certain way, and I'm not trying to pick up on this client, but I know, dealing with collectors, investors, consumers, that there are wicked clients who are all my pals. I've got one particular client who just texts me every so often, beer, ? And that's just like a catch up, and then we talk about art. He ends up, and the side conversation is buying art, and then we go back to talking about drinking beer or whatever else. And this is a Chelsea supporter, I'm a Chelsea supporter, and we have a little chat. But there are other people a little bit diva-ish, right? Has there been scenarios at times where you felt you've dealt with a diva and it's been quite hard work?
And he always gets them.
I take the brunt of it. So does Tess, who works for us as well. We manage to always get those sort of clients. But do you know what? Like, it's just how you handle it. And I think going back those years where we had those clients, you get that gut feeling. And it's so important, like now we'll listen to our gut from the get-go, like you say. If we ever had that sort of feeling where we think this person might be a little bit iffy, we might not necessarily do the work. Back then we'd do it because we think, there's another job. And then later down the line you realise that they are how you thought they was going to be, and they make you feel a certain way, which don't make you feel good.
It makes you feel awful.
Yeah, it just rips you apart. Like,
I feel like to be fair though, look back in the day, like maybe when we had them clients, like things weren't as good as what they are now. Like we don't really have that issue. You always get some people that might, do you know what I mean, then maybe not happy about, like, we ain't picked up the phone or something straight away or whatever it is. But we've come a long way since then. Also, you get people in our industry who are fiery. So say if a client kicks off to them, they'll just kick off back to them. Like, whereas we handle things differently. We're not going to start shouting and saying, we're going to do it in a professional way and try and diffuse the situation, although it's still a bit... Kill him with kindness.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. Yeah. And what I was trying to get to as well is there are going to be those times when people kind of unreasonable. They're going to be quite condescending. They're going to talk down at you. How do you learn to keep calm in them scenarios and to come back with killing them with kindness, but almost to be methodical in your approach and trying to diffuse the situation? How do you do that?
I think for us now, moving forward, because we can read up, we have such good relationships with our clients, so we can read them really well, right? So we know all of our clients that we've got now, who's going to say stuff, who isn't going to say stuff. Like, it's true, isn't it? Like,
we can,
And with the people that we know is going to say stuff, we make sure, and with everyone, but like even more so, we're like, this is going to be 100%. We don't want to give them anything. We have to treat it like that, don't we? So we just make sure, like, when we're doing the whole job, the process is faultless.
And communication. I think, to be fair, right, communication is the most important thing. If we're gonna, not that it's really happens now, but we're gonna be delayed by a few days to come into site, we'll just tell them as soon as we know. We're not gonna drag it out and make an excuse. I think, like we say, I think we can be that up front with them purely because of our relationship so good.
Yeah. More of a question about the entrepreneurial side of stuff. I mean, you're clearly both good at your chosen professions, but there's a difference between being a good skilled person to becoming a CEO or a founder or running a business. So how did you transition from being on the tools to actually operating the business?
I feel like we're both very like we're both very much like get up and go. So nothing like even from the get-go of our business when we were on the tools, like we learned to deal with the growth of it very quickly. And to be quite honest, we've learned a hell of a lot from our clients. Like we speak to them so much, especially the people we were saying about earlier. We've spoken to them, successful business people, and they kind of given us guidance and tips along the way and whatnot. But to be honest with you, it's purely just come down to our relationship. Like I could never have done this like as a business without Tyler, and I'd like to think it would be the same back. We've always had each other in every business decision, or to kind of sit back with and discuss and be like, I think we should try this avenue. We've tweaked things and changed things a million times, and we probably still will going forward as we keep growing. But I think the key thing for us and learning business as we're going along is having each other and making these decisions together. I think if it was just me on my own, there probably may have been very different decisions along the way, and vice versa.
If it was you on your own, you'd still be working.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
he would
exactly.
still be working. That's the thing. The difference between, we're like yin and yang, aren't we? So that's why we work so well together. Is like he's got the work ethic. Like he will just hands on, put his hands to anything, and just crack on full steam ahead. I'll be more methodical and have a process towards things. Yeah, like you say, like I'm thinking, right, there's a part of like delegation in there. Like without us taking a step back from the business, if we're just all hands on deck, like making everything, we can't grow the business at all. No. We can't do any brand development. We can't do any like R&D. We're just literally making the work, in which I said the work's the easy part. We need like to focus on the business side of things to get to where we want to be, and future plans and stuff as well. Like it's really important that we dedicate time for that. So
definitely, there's the old saying in the entrepreneurial world: you can either work in the business or work on the business, and they're both very, very important. But sometimes at the start, being founders and trying to bootstrap the whole project or company, you're working so much in the business, you're losing sight where the business should be going and what the brand should be doing. And that is the hard mindset sometimes of oscillating between one to the other before you have staff members can take things off your hands. And the other thing is, this is your baby, right? So therefore you don't want to let go.
No, you're right.
But you have to let go in order for that brand to thrive.
I've struggled the most with that. Like I said, I'm very hands-on with things. I like getting involved, but for me, like trusting other people to come in and do their thing, that's what I've mostly struggled with. But quickly learn that this is the way forward.
Yeah, so, for sure. Well, it's either a glorified job or it's a real brand, right? And
exactly.
There is a big difference between the two.
Massively.
My question to you is, in roughly about 7 years, what is the major challenges, setbacks and hurdles that you guys have faced?
I would say, to kick things off, I would say probably the biggest hurdles would have probably been not having things that we have in-house now, you say. So like, because basically, say for instance, we're doing a project and we're outsourcing all of the spray and stuff. We might get delayed 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it comes back to us, we check it, it's wrong. Then we have to delay our client. It just delays the whole process. Whereas now, obviously, we have these things in-house. So that, for one thing, is obviously good.
Yeah, definitely. I think, so mostly as every business as well as staff, it's hard to get like good people to always, and maybe like I always find like really good people kind of want to go and do their own thing maybe sometimes. So we've got to really give people good incentives to stay with us, and we always treat it like this ain't about our journey, me and Tyler. This is about the whole company's journey. Like we want everybody to grow with us. Like if we're smashing it in the workshop, we're smashing installs, jobs are going so smoothly, we're winning these projects, we're fitting them and everything is going well, I want everyone to come up with us and be rewarded with that as well. We're not selfish in that respect.
Yeah, like having a winning culture.
But they've probably been the most two challenging things, I would say, haven't they?
Yeah, staff and what would you even class the other thing?
Just, don't know.
What's been happening with the economy recently, and also with political news and stuff, is this whole thing of Brexit.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've got HMOs, and I built a gym in my garden area, like an outhouse, a few years ago, and then I replicated it, but by doing a smaller one for a ice bath and sauna.
Yeah.
See that.
And the smaller one costs more than the bigger one because of the price of materials have gone up so much. So how much has the hike of materials, how much has it affected your business and the overall customers, Brexit, and then also mortgage hikes? Now, I know that might not affect you directly, but at the end of the day, all of these individuals, they've probably got mortgages and loans. And now they're being pinched. Has that affected them making decisions and buying with you guys?
I feel like first one with materials, materials are kind of settled now, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean,
they're all good.
During COVID though, or like,
they got crazy.
Yeah, they started creeping up every week. We'd get an email from suppliers saying prices are going up, And to be honest with you, because the jobs were confirmed, we had to take the brunt of that. We couldn't just say to our client, the sheet of oak veneer's now gone up, you're gonna have to pay us more. We just looked at it and think we're just gonna have to.
At all times, we've got like a 4 to 6 month lead time, so we're taking a 50% deposit to secure that spot in the diary for that client's project. So obviously, we can't then change the prices because a sheet of oak veneer's gone up by 50% more. So like Ty said, we did have to take the brunt of that. But now it's all pretty sensible again, I think, and it's kind of leveled off a little bit. I think in regards to mortgages and the rates, like the interest rates and everything at the moment, I do feel like we're a good few months in advance with our project, so we're very lucky on that behalf, and I feel our niche clientele don't really feel affected by the economy. Like, if anything, I remember in COVID, they were growing in it. Like, the amount of our clients who would set up a PPE shop online and start selling face masks and gloves and all of this stuff and earning from it.
Opportunity in it for some people.
But I do feel like people, especially this year, I feel like they've definitely been a little bit harder to get confirmed and over the line, or maybe wanting to just hold back on certain things. And I don't know whether that's to do with like the market, with like the price, with the interest rates and stuff, but I would say it's definitely had a little bit of impact, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. You've grown your social media pretty well, over 30,000 followers. Obviously, you're young guys, got a really good brand, and you're working with some credible people. I know what comes with that territory is hate. Do you ever get a bit of hate, bit of slander from competitors, from people that you used to know, or people that used to be in your peer group? I feel like you're going to say yeah.
I feel like he's going to say yeah, and I'm thinking, no, we are, like say, kill them with kindness. If there's anyone that does hate us, like we don't hate anyone. Do you know what I mean? We're not those sort of people, and we kind of stay in our own lane in that way. Like, we want to see people do.
We're in our own bubble.
Yeah, we want to see people do well. Like you say, we was talking about Kettle Kids and those guys, seeing them grow throughout the years as well. Like, we want to see that, and for us, you kind of get a little bit of you feel good seeing other people do that as well. And like, even for us, we're the same, right?
Yeah, but it's like we're school friends and local, like our friends and stuff, no problem whatsoever. I remember when we first started up our company, there was a certain couple of companies who because we were quite young, we were literally doing some nice bits. We had them projects from the get-go. They didn't like it at all, and we had a few little moments with them, but that was years ago now, and it's like way in the past. But since we don't really, there's work for everyone, so I don't know why, but you kind of didn't really like the fact that we were the new kids on the block doing these nice beds and sofas and whatever it was similar areas. And
some people look at it like you're taking work away from them, so
but
they see you as opposition, right? Like, everyone's out here doing the same thing.
Definitely.
Plenty of work to go around.
Well, the reality is, if they're going elsewhere and they're not using the older companies who've been around longer, that's not on you, it's on them, right? Because if they're losing the business, they've got to look at themselves. It's not because someone else is coming; it's because they might not be fulfilling their needs.
Exactly.
And it's an opportunity actually to redefine yourself.
Exactly. And it's all about better products, better service, and it's true.
It's an experience, isn't it? Like, with what we do, it isn't just like you come and you drop a table off. It's the whole experience. We're trying that's where the lifestyle comes in. We're trying to make it the whole experience like unique in ordering furniture. We're trying to change the game
from start to finish. And so your brand then, is it going to be solely on what you're doing right now, or in 5 or 10 years time, how is the brand going to evolve? How is it going to change? And what is the mission behind it?
So it's probably a little bit sooner than that, to be fair. So for the last year, we've been working on a whole new platform on our website. So like we said earlier, about all our eggs are in one basket at the moment on Instagram, and although we've climbed with our clientele and everything, and I almost feel like there's a massive market where we may have intimidated them a little bit, and they thought, I don't want to inquire about a price for that because it might look a bit too expensive for what we want to spend. Whereas there are products we can make which will suit these people, and I really want them people to have a Harper Charles product. So we've been working on, at the moment, we've got like over 250 products. So we're going to have a website launching next year, which is going to have all Harper Charles freestanding products in set sizes, and also all different options of like stains or fabrics and so on. So the idea of this is that it will be like an online shop. So instead of just having the interior design service and the bespoke work, which is so time consuming for us as well, we want to tap into these people that can go on our website and they might kit their whole house out with 4 beds, 4 lots of bedside tables, sofas, media units, and we'll come in on Monday and be like, oh, we've got a whole house here on order. Someone's ordered it over the weekend. So that's what we want to do, more products off the shelf, but they're Harper Charles products.
I think that definitely helps grow the brand massively, because what we wanted to eventually come to is, you might go around someone's house and you go, I've seen that's a Harper Charles bedside table. The more like obviously we can pump out in that sort of respect, the more our furniture is going to be recognised. Yeah, and that's what we want, ideally.
Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
I know you've only been in business for a relatively short time, and you're young guys. But with what you've learned right now and your experiences, let's just say a young male, young female, maybe another duo is about to go down a path of, maybe not in your sector, but just developing a brand, or maybe even in your sector. What kind of advice, what kind of insight can you give them? What kind of soundbite can you say right now that is going to keep them positive and focus on their mission?
I would just say, just literally go and network with so many different people. Just it's whoever you're in the room with. Like if you can hold a conversation with someone, and like you say, nothing might not come from it, but I've now spoken to you, and now you guys know us, and someone might come through the door and go, oh, furniture, I know 2 guys that can do furniture, blah blah, maybe put you in contact. But it's networking is one massive thing, I think. And then
and I think for going by our past experience is just the hard work. That's for us, it was the biggest thing of where we are now. And I'm not saying it's the right thing, and it definitely isn't the right thing now to work 7 days a week, every evening late, get in early. But for us, for a good 2 to 3 years, that's what we've done, and I think that's a massive reason why we are where we are now.
I feel like another thing, you need to know your industry inside out, don't you? So you need to be obsessed with what you're doing. So when you're speaking to someone, you can
fill them with confidence.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's such an important thing.
Yeah.
The thing that we haven't spoken about yet is you recently came up with a concept of taking the work week down from 5 days to 4 days. Why are you now only working 4 days rather than 5?
Well, we're really working 5, but in 4 days. So we don't want people to think we're getting lazy and just want to have a long weekend. But
we're constantly working anyway. But
yeah, we are. Like, obviously, me, Tyler, the girls, like we're always in touch with clients and everything like that over the weekends and so on. But it was more so just a thing for all of our staff, and we thought, we always see on a Friday, like productivity will kind of drop off a little bit. So I said to Ty, I was like, mate, why don't we try and go down to a 4-day week, obviously working 5-day hours. Let's try it, let's see if everyone is up for it. Everyone was like, yes, love it, I want to do it. So we trialed it and we've extended it, and we haven't really gone back yet. No. And to be quite honest with you, productivity is so much better, and everyone on a Monday, they come in, they feel refreshed, they've had a weekend, so they're ready to go again. So we're doing 6 till 5:30 Monday to Thursday. It's a long day, but everyone's so up for it because they know Thursday at 5:30 is the weekend. So yeah, so far so good. And to be honest with you, we'll probably trial it until up to Christmas still, and then but it's been pretty good, hasn't it, so far?
We always said if there was going to be a red flag and the productivity was down, we wouldn't do it, because for us, obviously, we'd be paying everyone 5 days, but they'd only be doing, say, 4 days, 3 days worth of work. So for us, it'd be no point in doing it, and obviously the guys would be benefiting from that. But the work, like, obviously we set out the schedule anyway. So I mean, the schedule has been, if not, it's been better, hasn't it? Because the days are longer, you actually get more done in the day. Like, realistically, don't you?
Yeah, agreed.
Is there like a final goal for Harper Charles?
We want our products everywhere. Like, we want to be in some of these big. Yeah, we want to be in at a good pace. Though I don't want to do anything too soon. No. But 5 years time from now, we want to have our products. We want interior designers using our products on their projects, which they'll be able to buy off our website. We want to be into some of these high street shops where our products are on display, very niche like area of it. And most of all, just keep growing and just become a better and bigger business.
Yeah. Have you set your sights on when that exit could be, or when you like to retire?
We haven't put. There's no. Yeah, I don't think we'll ever stop doing anything anyway. Like it's just in us, and it's probably the same as you. You never will stop. It's like whatever you're doing, it's like there's always something else, isn't there? Like you do one thing and then it gives you another idea to do something else. If you've got that in you, some people don't have those little ideas. They're just happy to just do that one thing and that's it. That keeps them content. But like for us, we're just ruthless. Like it's an idea after an idea after an idea. I just do his head in. Like
he does do my head in with ideas, if I'm honest. Although he has got an idea book and it's got nothing in it, but they're all in my head now. But like for us after Harper Charles, like we've got plans which we wanna do. Still very much involved in houses and interior, but like we've just got a massive passion for it, and like we wouldn't be doing what we're doing now if we didn't love it, and we love it. So like it's very much Harper Charles through and throughout.
100%.
Fantastic stuff. My closing question is this. I came up with my own catchphrase, my own mantra, and it goes like this: be happy, never content. If I were to ask the founders of Harper Charles, what does be happy, never content mean to you?
You can go first.
Be happy, never content. I think so being happy, I feel like it's being present is being present and never content. I would say don't settle, isn't it? Like, so it's hard to say. I think being present is one thing. You need to be present in life. Like we can have all this stuff going on, but if you're not present in certain situations with your family and stuff like that, like what are you doing it all for? You need to have a good balance. But never content, I feel like we are never content. Yeah. So how I would, I'm not too sure, but yeah.
It's quite a hard question to actually answer.
Yeah. It's actually a conflicting statement.
It kind of is.
I feel like we're never content.
What I take from that and how I see that is that when you're kind of so involved in things, and like we have always, I say, people come up to us like, oh, you boys are doing so well, like well done. We don't ever take a step back to be content with what we've got and be proud of what we've achieved. So I feel like you say, it's very conflicting.
I like that saying though. It's cool.
Yeah. Be happy, never content.
Yeah, I feel like for me, it's a state of mind. Whether you're happy at the time or a bit of sad, there's always a bit of silver lining, and you can appreciate what you've got. But at the same time, if you stand there and admire it too much, then you're never going to push on and achieve what you can possibly achieve.
It's true.
I do a bit of boxing, and I remember a lot of my coaches, one particular coach, if you pulled off a good shot, he would go to you, stop admiring what you've done because you'll just get hit. And it's so true. Like sometimes when you catch someone, you're like, oh yeah, that was good. And before you know it, whack, you've just been hit. So you've got to keep on moving forward with it, and that's where it comes from.
But what I find is you don't do it when you're in and amongst it, but it's very important to take a little step back and realise where you're at. But we don't do it, do we?
No.
Never. And I wish I could.
Guys, thank you very much for coming on board, sharing your success story, the entrepreneurial journey, and who knows, in 5 years, 10 years down the line, we could do a part 2.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much. Be happy, never content, and make sure you are subscribing and sharing. Cheers. Guys, before we end this episode, I have to give one more mention to this week's sponsors, iSecure Vehicles. Now, I've already mentioned their products. They are the very best in what they do. They have a wide range of different services and different systems to protect your asset and your vehicle. Head over to their website to find out a bit more. Thanks for watching this week's episode. There's going to be some more exciting guests, some big names, and some really, really juicy episodes.